evening, witches and ghouls. Be prepared to be frightened and haunted by Tyler Nightmare's Late Night Horror Show. And now introducing your ghost host, Tyler Nightmare.
Good evening, witches, ghouls, punks, fiends, and fellow creatures of the night. Welcome to episode 2 of the Late Night Horror Show. This episode is recorded on August 27th, 2024, and we are talking about The Guest, directed by Adam Wingard, released September 17th, 2014. I am your ghost host, Tyler Nightmare himself, and tagging along, coming back, is my good buddy Chris.
What's going on, everyone?
How you doing, my man?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Dying in this heat.
Yeah, it's fucking hot outside.
It's 100 degrees outside, so if you hear fans and ACs in the background, mind your business, all right, folks? It's fucking hot as balls. And that's hot for Wisconsin, I'll tell you that much. It feels like it's like fucking Florida outside.
It's like a fucking Congo.
Right? But yes, we're talking about The Guest. So we're going to jump right into it. We're not going to dilly-dally. We're just going to jump right into this. So, here's your spoiler warning. If you ain't seen this, go check it out and come on back. Spoiler warning. Alright, buddy. Let's dive into The Guest.
Alrighty.
Now, we've already talked a little bit because we're having microphone and computer difficulties, so we're recording with one microphone and the phone against the microphone. So, bear with us, folks. I don't know what the fuck happened, but shit happens. Anyway, so, alright, where do we want to start?
Well, I suppose we can just start with the summary of the video, or movie.
I suppose, yeah, because I've like the whole movie in front of me in my notes right here. Fucking, I guess we could just go off of the notes that I have written down and just talk about them and shit. So, like, the first thing I wrote down is the introduction with David Collins and the family and shit. Like, each family member. I think it's interesting that he goes to their house, and the first person he talks to is the mom, and he gives him the story that he knew her son in the war and he died or whatever and shit. And he comes and tells him.
And he was with him when he died.
Yeah. Which obviously is gonna pull those heartstrings on the mother and shit.
And right off the bat, you could tell that he knew how to manipulate the family.
Oh, yeah. He's got that fucking swagger charm. That's one thing, dude. Throughout the whole movie, I was like, damn, dude, this dude's fucking cool.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's what actually really turned me on to the movie, and what really made me watch the movie. I saw clippets of it, and I'm like, this guy is a real funny guy, you know? And I ended up buying the movie. I watched the movie, throughout the movie, I'm watching him, you know, go throughout all these situations. I'm like, this guy's a real funny guy, you know, making his way, manipulating almost everybody to liking him, and it seemed real funny to me. You know, he's real charismatic, you know, and it seems like everybody around him just likes him right off the bat. And he wants that.
I mean, I started liking him right off the bat. I was like, all right, this he's a nice fella. He just showed up. And fucking... But
you could tell there's something not right about him.
Oh, yeah. I figured it was just because of the war. Because before we get into that, you mentioned that you bought the movie. How long ago did you watch this movie? Because I know this isn't your first time watching it.
I bought it about 2 years ago, I want to say.
So relatively new.
Yeah, it's relatively newer to me.
See, I bought it a couple months ago, and I only bought it because I fell in love with Dan Stevens in Godzilla X Kong, the new movie. And then I watched Abigail last week, and he was in Abigail, and I was like, oh fuck, I love him in this. I was like, all right, I'm gonna put on The Guest, and then I was like, damn, I want to talk about this, and I know you'd seen it, so I was like, all right, but that was my first time watching it this week, so I had never seen it before.
Yeah, apparently this was his first villainous role.
Yeah, apparently he was the Beast in Beauty and the Beast, I guess. I didn't know that.
What the fuck?
I don't know. I heard that somewhere. I didn't look it up, but so don't take my word, but I think he's the Beast. I don't know. I have no clue. But yeah, that's why I chose to do this movie this week, just because I really dug it, and I wanted to talk about it. And then it really confused me, which we're going to talk about as well. Which apparently I've confused you now, too.
Yeah, it's got a lot of people confused, and a lot of people actually don't know.
Well, it's all spoilers. We can just talk whatever here. But I love when the dad meets him. He's like, what if he has the PSTD or like he calls it the like it's a disease or something. It shit had me cracking up. I was like, duh, it's not the PTSD.
Yeah, just the way he said it was kind of stupid.
And then fucking his first introduction, he's like, David, I'm gonna have a beer. Do you want a beer? Like, just always going for the beer and shit.
Yeah.
And then the first introduction with the kid and shit, he's just looking at him. He's just staring at him. The kid doesn't know what the fuck to do. He's like, so you knew my brother, I guess? He's just like, looks like someone hit you. He's got that black eye from school and shit. He's like, nah, I got hit by a football. He's like, yeah, that happens. I fucking love him in this movie, dude. He's so good. But then the next note I have is the conversation that the dad has with David after he starts drinking with him and shit. And he's telling him about
what he's gonna do after, like for a job and whatnot, and go throughout life. And he's like, I don't know. And he's like, I figured I was just gonna do this. He's like, oh, so you don't even have it figured out. He's like, no, I don't. He's like, well, why don't you stay here with us? He knew what he was doing. He knew how to manipulate the family.
Yeah, on the second watch I caught that, because on my first watch, you're naive, you're not aware. But the second time I watched it, I watched how he manipulated everyone so good. I was like, man, this fucking, he right, dude. You know what he reminded me of? He reminded me of like a Ricky, but not all Trailer Park Boy-esque. But
I don't see it.
Because Ricky can fucking talk anyone into doing anything. That's why I was thinking that. I was like, this manipulating fuck. Or my bass player. Fucking he convinces me to do shit I don't want to do all the time. No, but I love, even Maya brought this up. She's like, oh yeah, get a couple beers in them and they start bonding. I was like, yeah, that's what men do. Men drink and then they start opening up and start talking and shit. And that's
one of the part is he didn't even do much talking. He let, if you notice that, he lets a lot of the people around him do a lot of the talking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but then this is where you kind of like, if you're aware, this is where you kind of pick up that something's gonna happen, because after the dad's telling the story, like to David and stuff, the music starts playing in the background. And it's that fucking sweet-ass synth fucking music, like that heavy bass and shit. And he's got that look on his face like he's about to do something, too. But then it kind of brushes off for a while until later in the movie, and then it kind of comes back. But you kind of forget about it because you didn't really realize what happened. But when you watch it the second time, you're like, oh, fuck. That's when he fucking did that. That's interesting. I didn't catch that before.
That's another part of the movie that I actually like is the music and the soundtrack throughout it. Is like when it switches from scenes, you get that weird, like eerie, like doo. The
soundtrack is fucking amazing in this movie. I love it. But
yeah, I liked it too. That's another reason.
I watched the Q&A with Dan Stevens on the Blu-ray and stuff, and he said that Adam Wingard and Simon Barrett had like scenes planned out based on the music already. So they had the music and then worked scenes around the music, and then he had to act for it, and he thought it was fucking interesting as fuck.
Interesting.
And also, as I said earlier, he said this movie is pretty much if Captain America gone wrong. He literally said that in the fucking Q&A too. Which makes sense because it was 2014 and Captain America, like the Avengers and shit, was the hottest shit at that time, especially the Avengers and shit. And I think Winter Soldier came out that year too, so it makes sense. But yeah, so I thought that was cool.
Super soldier.
But he pretty much is a super soldier in a way. Super soldier gone wrong. Which is so confusing because how the fuck does that even happen?
They never even really delved into that. They just said that he was he was part of some experimental program.
Yeah, dude.
And that even the director, or I'm not even sure like of his position, but like lieutenant or I don't even know, but I assume he was the director of the program. He refers to David, like he is a robot or something like that. He's programmed to wipe. Or he's programmed to eliminate
clean up any loose ends. Yeah. Yeah, it's so confusing. But this next part, I love this next part, dude. This is like probably my favorite scene in the whole movie.
I think I know.
When he picks up the little brother from school. And then he starts following those teenagers to the bar and shit. Dude, I love this part. And then I have bar fight scene written in my notes. And then he orders a fucking fireball. So I'm over here thinking of fireball as a fucking, like a shot, like a fireball shot. And I was like, ugh. But it's pretty close. I wrote down what it is right here. It says cinnamon schnapps and Tabasco sauce. I was like, ugh, what the fuck? And then he orders the kid a Coke. And then the fucking teenagers that beat up the kid earlier with the girls and shit, he orders the girls all blowjob shots, which I don't know what's in those. And then he orders all the dudes cosmopolitans.
Do I look like I want to order a drink for the fellas?
I do, yeah. That was fucking sweet.
I'm just saying, it might be courteous, might be kind to do so, sure, Blowjob shot for the ladies and cosmopolitans for the men.
That's a sure way to piss somebody off, I'll tell you that much. But dude, when he said that to the guy, do I look like I want to buy drinks for the fellas? That made me think of you. That made me think of you. Just the way his face looked and shit too, and his expression. I was like, dude. I see why Chris likes this movie too.
He's a funny guy.
He is a funny dude. And then we get the first actual fight scene in the movie, which is sweet because the dude pours a fucking drink in David's face, the cosmopolitan.
And that music kicked in, and you could tell something's about to happen.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, I mean, if someone threw a drink in my face, something's gonna happen either way, music or no music. I don't give a shit. Fucking no, but anyway, so. He throws the drink in David's face, and David's like, all right, and throws his fucking cinnamon Tabasco drink in dude's face, and I was like, oh my god, I could feel it. I could feel that. Oh, it should burn. Cinnamon and Tabasco sauce, dude. Cinnamon liquor at that, not even just cinnamon. Fuck that, dude. And then, he goes all, fucking... You what?
I said even alcohol minus the tobacco sauce, that shit would just burn in your eyes anyway, too.
Yeah, it fucking would for sure. And fucking, then he starts beating the living fuck out of everybody in the fucking bar, dude. He does it fucking like Captain America style, too. No one even touches him at all. He just goes, bam, 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 just done. Everyone's done. They're all crying on the floor and shit.
Yeah, that goofy little whooshing sound when he turns his head.
Forgot about that. Then he looks at the bartender. He's like, you guys better get out of here. And you better call the cops and tell the truth. A bunch of teenage kids try to come in. You try to ID them. But they caused some trouble and they got into a fight. That's what happened.
Got out of hand.
Yeah.
You didn't get a look at the other guys.
Just fucking the swag on him, dude. It's so good. And I don't even like that word, but that's the only word that can fit him, honestly.
I'd say confidence.
I don't know. I think it's even more than confidence. He
was completely confident that he could get away with that, and he knew.
Oh, fuck yeah. But that puts on a whole other like shine overconfidence in my opinion, because it's like there's overconfidence and then there's like fucking swag. I swear to God, fucking just his demeanor and everything too, just how he is, his walk and just the way he's always like looking at. He's always giving that like look, or you know what I mean?
Like a fucking lizard on ice.
Dude. He fucking rules in this movie. And then yeah, after that's actually my next favorite fucking scene in this movie.
When he kicked that ex-boyfriend's ass.
Well, yeah, just the whole party scene in general. He shows up. He's like, "Oh, we're just waiting for the kegs to get in here." He's like, "Oh, where are they at?" I'll bring them in. I'm just thinking he's gonna fucking have a hard time carrying this one. Hell nah. This motherfucker comes in definitely like Captain America, one over the shoulder and one in the other hand. I'm going, all right, what the fuck
Those
is
things
this?
are fucking heavy too.
Dude, I
They're
know.
not light.
And this is before I realized he was like, I knew he was a soldier and shit. I was like, well, I could see a soldier carrying one over his shoulder maybe, but one over the shoulder and one in the hand, I don't know about that. Possibly, but I was like, that seems a little too strong. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? But then, yeah, fucking, I'm glad you brought up the ex-boyfriend part, because you've seen SLC Punk, right?
No, I actually haven't. Not all the way through, anyway. I've seen bits and parts.
I was gonna say, I don't know if I've showed you that whole movie before, but when that ex-boyfriend walks up to him and shit and tries talking to Kristen or whatever,
Yeah.
and he shoves him and fucking tries to grab her, and he takes his head and shoves it in the wall. It made me think of SLC Punk when fucking Matthew Lillard's like, this is Mike. This is Mike. He doesn't look like a punk rocker, but he's punk as fuck. Watch, check this out. Dude walks in front of him, he rips off his hat and shoves his face in the wall, and he goes, punk fucking rock! Dude, that's what it made me think of. I even have in my notes, punk fucking rock.
Fun fact, dude, that Kristen chick is actually from Milwaukee.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's cool. Speaking of, where do you think this takes place in?
Fuck, I actually don't know. To me, it kind of looks like it's like Arizona or something.
Hey, dude, that's exactly what I was thinking too. Because I was trying to read like the license plate and shit. I couldn't get a good read on any of them. Even trying to pause the movie and shit. And I don't know, just like how it feels like a deserty place, but like small townish though in a way.
Kinda, yeah.
So it's hard to tell. But it's also Halloween season too, which was really cool, really sneaky. I didn't know it was a Halloween movie. And I thought it was pretty fitting because we just went Halloween shopping the other day too, actually, and shit. Fucking. So I was like, oh, sweet, fucking, a little bit of Halloween. I'm getting ready for Halloween. So that was nice, and it's like September. September. It's pretty much Halloween Eve, and then October is Halloween in general. So. So I like that. I'm ready for some Halloween in my life. But yeah, all the Halloween stuff was nice. But
My favorite scene is the gun scene.
Oh yeah, dude. I was about to get to that in a little bit here. I'm just going off of the notes, which is pretty much the movie in order. So just kind of blast through it. Fucking. But then he takes that Kristen chick and bangs her in the other room. But she's all on
Right
him.
after smashing her ex-boyfriend's head against the wall. Get him out of here.
Fucking SLC Punk style. Bam. This shit was so awesome. But they bang, but she's like on him, and she's like, "You're not into this, are you?" And he flips over. He's like, "No, I'm real into this," and starts fucking. He needed to be the top daddy, is what he needed to be. He didn't want to be no bottom bitch. And then that happens, and then he talks to fucking Grandma's Boy, fucking JP from Grandma's Boy. Please get on top of me, fucking. Dude, when he fucking killed him, I thought he was gonna run up and be like, "Please don't shoot me," or something. Oh, dude, I was having a blast with this movie, even by myself watching it too. But yeah, he buys the fucking he asked the dude if he can get him guns and shit. After he fucks with them, he's like, "We support you, man." He's like, "Support us how?" He's like, "So you don't support us enough to enlist?" Yeah. He's like, "Aw, man, they don't want me. I got asthma." As dude smoking a blunt and shit. Like What a really bad fucking.
It'd be really hard for you, how? And he's like, "What the fuck, man?" Like, so I'm just fucking with you. He's like, "Oh my god."
Is he though? It's like deep down, he's like fucking hard as fuck. But is he like fucking with them, or is he gonna get them? Well, he does get them later, but not because of that. I love that scene too, man.
Yeah, because you see, in that moment, you see like the seriousness come out in his face.
Yeah,
and
dude.
You don't know if he's fucking kidding or not.
I was a bit nervous for that guy right there. I was like, oh fuck. You might fuck this dude up right now. It might just trigger, because on my first watch, I'm thinking he triggered some kind of something, from the war or something. Because at this point, I still don't know about this fucking identity shit. Actually, after the party scene is when we find out about that a little bit too, because he says he likes the music. Oh yeah, we haven't even talked about Micah Monroe. I think that's her name, Micah Monroe.
Anna.
Yeah. Actually, I just watched Longlegs like a couple months ago, and I didn't even realize that was the same fucking person. I was like,
I've seen her somewhere else before. I know that.
Probably It Follows, because that's the only thing I know her from too.
I know that. I know that in the movie when she met David, she's really standoffish against him. But like when they go to the party together and they're talking after the party, she realizes like, all right, he's a pretty cool dude and whatnot,
Oh no, yeah.
He's not as bad as I thought he was.
That's something we gotta talk about. It seemed a little bit more than that even. Seemed like she was starting to fucking like him and shit.
Oh no, she didn't start doing that until he came out of the shower.
Yeah,
she's like, I need to take a shower, and he comes out like shirtless, muscles showing. Then she's like, oh shit, and then like she went in her room and closed the door, and she's like hot and heavy, like oh.
Yeah, that's right before they go to the party too. So that's when that happens, and then at the party they see each other a little bit, and then I can tell like she's starting to fall for him, and then on the car ride back, he's all like, well, fuck him. If he wouldn't be wasting a good thing like you. If I had a lady like you back home, I would have never enlisted in the first place. Yeah. I think that's what got her for sure.
Yeah, like I said, he knew how to manipulate her, and in that particular scene, he was letting her doing most of the talking.
Yep, as he does for everyone, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Because then that night she makes him a mixed CD too, because he said he likes the music in the car, which I did too, man. The music in this fucking movie is awesome. And yeah. I heard that the guy that did the music used the same type of synths that John Carpenter used for Halloween 3 Season of the Witch also.
I think I remember hearing that too.
Which is also cool, because at the Halloween party you see the 3 masks in the background too.
Oh, you do?
Oh, you didn't catch that?
I didn't know.
Dude, that was another thing that made me think of you. I was like, man, I see why Chris likes this movie, because it's got fucking the witch, the pumpkin, and the skull, right? Yeah, the skull in the background. They're like
pumpkin, the skull, and the witch.
Yeah, they're cut out on like the wall in the background and shit.
Yeah, I didn't catch that.
I caught that on my first watch. I guess I know those masks so well that when I see them, I go, oh. Or even if I just see a skull, a witch, and a pumpkin, I go, oh. Even they don't even have to look like it, but I know it's fucking an Easter egg at least or something.
Yeah, I guess it didn't really stand out to me because I don't really like the Season of the Witch like that.
Give it another watch, man. It's a good movie. Don't think of it as a fucking Michael Myers movie. Just think of it as its own movie, dude. Fucking what's that dude's name? Fuck, I can't think of his name. I'm blanking so hard. He was in The Fog also. Tom Atkins. Tom Atkins is fucking... He's great in that movie, dude. Anyway. So, yeah, she makes a mix CD for David, and it's the next morning. And I wrote this down, dude, because this is... Alright, here's everything he says on the phone. I have it word for word right here. So, this is just him on the phone. You can't hear who's on the other side of the phone. He says, no, I want to proceed as we discussed. Dash. No one will be able to recognize me. That's important. What do you mean dental records? An orthodontist? No, I do not need that. Fingers? Yes. As soon as possible. I'm off the grid for now. But there are people trying to look for me. I understand it will take some time, but it's urgent. I just need a new face.
Yeah, and that's all with Anna hearing him, from inside the house, and he's outside of the house, on the phone. This person
on a phone he's not supposed to have because he said he doesn't have a phone.
And that's when Anna kind of realizes, like, yeah, he's not who he says he is, and he's not out to be, I guess, who they think he is.
Mm-hmm. And she calls the military, and this is where I got you fucked up now.
Yeah.
Because this part fucked me up in my second watch. No, because on my first watch, I saw that and I was like, oh, he got a face surgery before, maybe. So I feel like he's been disguising identities for a while, maybe. But as the movie goes on, it gets really confusing, I guess. But fuck, I lost my train of thought.
It's a picture, yeah. Okay, so when Anna calls the military branch to find out, more about this David, because he refers to himself as David Collins. So she calls the military branch to figure out more about him. And she's like, all right, I'll get back to you on that. And then the moment that this military personnel searches for his name, a different picture of a man pops up. And it's not that the name is David Collins, but it's a different picture of who David, is. And we actually don't know if that's who David really was, or if he's just posing as a David Collins. You don't know.
Well, they said David Collins died in a fire 2 weeks ago. Excuse me, 2 weeks ago. And then later on, when we meet Detective Carver, or Agent Carver, his name, he says that David burnt down a hospital and killed many and escaped. So it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and he even refers to him as David too.
Yeah.
So that's the confusing part. You don't actually know who this guy is, but he's only referred to as David. Whether his name really is David or not, or if he's just posing as him, or if that's his, like a face behind the actual true identity of him,
then
is unknown.
Here's the other, or maybe he's just using, well, no, because the dude calls him David too. What? All right, because I was about to say, because you see Dan Stevens, or David, in the photo at the family's house with their son and other members of their troops and stuff. So it's like, who the fuck is this guy? Or did they fuck up in the movie and just put a wrong picture in there? Which I don't know why they would do that. Or because I was thinking maybe he just took David's name and is using it as an alias. But then why would the agent guy be calling him David then too?
Yeah, I don't know. I always thought that he was actually that was his actual name, and he was just searching for. And I always thought that was his actual name and his actual face, and that he was searching for someone to reconstruct his face and whatnot, until you showed me that picture today.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, well, this kind of fucks up what I know, now, and now you're left to wonder, like, who is this guy, and I kind of like that, you don't know who this guy is.
I was just about to say, I kind of like it too. It makes it very mysterious, and it just makes you want to keep talking about it and try to figure it out. But the thing is, you're never going to figure it out because there's nothing you can't figure it out.
Yeah, there's no detail into it.
No. The only thing, because you mentioned the other day that there's a sequel, but it's a soundtrack?
Yeah, so a lot of people were wondering if with a sequel, and if there was a sequel, and the director said yes, there's going to be a sequel. Now he said it's not going to be a movie, and it's not your traditional sequel, but instead it's going to be a soundtrack sequel, and you're left to basically make out the scenes just by the soundtrack itself. Music, to me, and this is where I find it interesting, because whoever thought of this idea has the same concept on how I can view music sometimes. And I think music, to me, can actually tell a tale without words.
I agree. I do definitely agree.
You don't actually have to have you don't have to, to me, you don't have to sing or put words in a song for it to mean something or for it to tell a story. The notes itself can tell the story. You're just left wondering how to interpret the story for yourself.
Yeah, I was gonna look into this, but I didn't really have time to look into it.
Oh yeah. It's just all it is just a soundtrack, and it has a name, of each and every track, it'll say like this, David does this, or
so then you just put it in your imagination of what could happen. That's actually really cool. I'd actually like to listen to that.
Exactly. That's how he wanted it to be.
Well, I think that's how, like as I mentioned earlier, I think that's how he wrote the first movie.
That's what that's what I found interesting when you said that. I was like, interesting, because I learned that about the second, the sequel,
Yeah, Dan Stevens said it on the Blu-ray Q&A features that's on there. I watched because we were eating and we finished the movie. I was like, well, let's check out the special features on this shit. But that was it was quick. It was only like a 5-minute Q&A thing, but it was pretty interesting.
Right.
All right, yeah, so...
He calls the military personnel, figures out, okay, this guy is not who he says he is.
Oh, yeah, and this is right when he buys the guns now, too.
Yep, my favorite scene.
Dude, this part had me rolling. I'm not gonna lie. Very tense, but it had me laughing though because he's buying the. You want to?
I'll just take it away. So he goes and meets up. What was his fucking name? That guy he meets at the party.
Craig. His name's Craig, but I always call him JP from Grandma's Boy.
So he meets up with Craig and another guy, which is Craig's contact, to get him a gun.
That's Ethan Embry. That's the actor. I don't know who his character was, but...
I can't remember either, and he's showing him all these weapons, and he's like, all right. He's like, I'll take it. I'll take them all, or whatever. He's like, well, which one? And he's like, all of them. All your guns. He's like, oh, I hope you brought enough money, to, buy them all. He's like, no, I'm going to kill you.
He just shoots him right in the fucking head. Boom. And that's the first, actual murder we see. And then, right after this happens, we get to... Oh, I gotta say, when he shot Craig's just running, he's loading his gun, just taking his time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because dude only loaded one round in the chamber.
Yeah.
So then fucking Craig takes off and, David calmly puts another fucking round in the chamber to shoot Craig, and he shot him from yards away.
Yeah, he did. What kind of gun was that?
It was a revolver. I'm not sure exactly what brand it was, but it was a revolver.
Yeah.
I'm guessing .357, which is still impressive from the range that Craig was at.
It was actually pretty impressive.
And it was a headshot at that.
Was it a headshot? I thought you just got him in the back or something.
Because when you see it from afar, you can see the blowback on the head.
Oh, I didn't see that. Damn, headshot from that distance. Well, military. Super soldier gone wrong, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, but then right after that, they get back to the house, and the dad just storms in the house and starts pouring a whiskey. He's like, I need a drink. Because then you find out that fucking the guy that got the job he wanted is fucking dead, and so is his wife. And they said it's from prescription pills and shit. And that was fucking David, because that goes back to when the fucking dad had the conversation with earlier in the music. That's when I clicked. I said, oh, that's when he went and killed those people. Because he said he's been missing for a couple of days. His boss has been missing for a couple of days and shit. And they find him in the house. I want to know how the fuck David got him to eat fucking prescription pills and shit.
Well, he probably threatened him, because they did say that the wife had bruises on her body, and they're not sure what that means.
Oh, yeah.
So he most likely threatened him to swallow the pills, otherwise he was going to kill his wife. and he probably did it anyway, made him kill himself and then killed her. What I find interesting, and you as the audience, you're left actually seeing all these things and knowing these things about David while everybody else is kind of not knowing this. He's actually benefiting the family.
He is.
He's doing things for the family in their own benefit.
Which is like...
it serves his purpose, but he's doing things to help them out.
Yeah, which is so fucking insane, because it all would have worked if she would have never called the military. He could have got away with all of it for a very long time if Anna never called the military base.
Oh, yeah.
And he would have just made that family rich and happy as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, well, we don't know which way it would have gone, if he would have just left or if he would have... He only did what he did because he was basically compromised.
Exactly. So if he was never compromised, he would have never...
But yeah, he ended up... He helped the dad get the job that he wanted. He was helping the mom, deal with everything...
With her son.
Yeah, and helping around the house. He was helping the son, the younger son, with the bullies, and then he was also I don't really know what exactly.
Well, he tried helping Anna because actually this is right in the same scene too. Fucking her boyfriend calls, and he gets pulled over and shit because he calls and tells her that Craig's dead and shit, and then he gets in jail and he calls. He says they found the gun in my car. And he was like, they searched the house, but they found other shit because he was a weed dealer and shit. He was selling drugs and shit. So he's like, I'm going to be in here for a while. He said. So that's how David tried to help. But I think David was going to try to get with her, too, eventually, after he was gone for a while.
He might have. Yeah, he might have.
Because it was already kind of working even when he was there. Because it seemed like she was almost thinking about going with David for a hot minute until she heard that phone call.
Yeah. But yeah, he was master manipulator, he was basically showing the family and posing as like this great guy, when he's doing all this shit. And it's actually benefiting the family, in a way.
Like I said, they would have probably had a really good life if he never got compromised.
He's a funny guy.
But then my next note goes back to the fire thing. It says David Collins died a week ago in a military hospital in...
When they looked that up, that military personnel, it got flagged. His name got flagged and said contact KPG immediately.
I'm trying to read my damn shitty handwriting. Sorry.
Ended up contacting this military branch, and I'm not sure the guy's name, the agent.
Carver. I think it's Carver.
Yeah, but he ends up, going after David. He gets word, David's here. He's like, all right, I got to ship out and go find this guy before he does something.
Oh, Arizona. That's what that says. So it is. This is in Arizona.
It is Arizona. Okay, so, it kind of looks like it.
Okay, yeah. So in a military hospital in Arizona. Sorry, I couldn't read that fucking word. It looked like air coma. I'm like, what the fuck is Ari coma? No, Arizona. Fire from oxygen tanks, and he killed 20 people from that fire. And then that's when she steals his phone, too, and takes pictures of his fucking contacts he's been calling and shit.
Yeah, as proof, yeah.
And then the sister tells the brother to spy on David. And he's at school, and fucking... the kids that David beat up finds him, calls him... he calls him a faggot. That's what he does. And then he fucking turns around and he decks him in the fucking face. It's so gnarly. And then they fucking start a fight and they get to the principal's office. And dude, this part's fucking sweet too. I love this too.
That part is fun.
Dude, there's so many scenes I actually really like in this movie.
The principal was basically threatening to, he told him, the kid's got to be, Yep. And then David's like, "Oh, what did the other kid call him?" And he's, "I think that's irrelevant. Did he call him a faggot?" He's like, well, that word is, pretty offensive.
I believe that was the word.
Yeah, I believe that was a word. He's like, that could be considered a hate crime.
Yeah. He's like, what?
He's like, we're gonna get a lawyer and we're gonna sue the school board, and once this ends up on the news and in front of the whole country, who knows what might happen.
And he's all like,
a little scared.
He says all for suspension. Like, he says suspension. He doesn't say the expulsion. Like, he goes the down tier, the top expulsion and then suspension.
Yeah,
he's like, suspension. And then the principal's like, well, that's the least we could probably do. He's like, nah. He's like, you want to sue these guys? And the mom's like, I don't know. He's like, we're gonna sue you. We'll see you later. Starts walking out. He's like, I didn't even know he's gay. And he's like, all right, what about detention after school? He stops, gives him that look, turns his head. For how long? A month? All right, deal. Fucking dude, it's so sweet. It's so good. He just fucking schooled the teacher or the principal, and the principal's even like, who are you? Like, I'm a
didn't even know his name through the whole conversation. Basically threatened him and threatened to do all this, and by the time it was all over, he's like, who are you? I'm a friend of the family. Didn't even say his name.
Oh, it's so good. So, dude, I love this guy. You're not supposed to, but I fucking love this guy, dude.
He's a funny guy.
He is a funny guy. But then this is when actually everything gets flipped because he goes up.
Turn.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh.
No, go ahead. That's where the tides turned. But
I was gonna say, yeah, because then he goes out in the hall with the little brother, and the brother just says everything like, my sister thinks you killed all these people and shit, and that you're not really David Collins. Dude, even the kid says, I know you're not David Collins.
Yeah, even the kid says, like, I know you killed those people or whatever the fuck. He's like, I'm not going to tell anybody. He's like, why not? He's like, well, we're friends, right? And he's like, yeah. But you can tell on David's face, that he's been exposed.
Yep.
His face turned from a smile to a complete serious, like, expression on his face.
Time to kill.
They know.
It's like,
know.
Like the dude said, like, he's like a robot. He's like programmed. It's like the program all of a sudden took over in his brain. Like, the mission's clear once again.
Yeah, and that's kind of, you don't know if he's, like, what he is, like, if there was some sort of serum injected in him, if he has some sort of cybernetic, pieces inside of him.
No.
You don't know. They never really clarify that in the movie.
Which I really want to know. But then it kind of is what makes the movie better, though, is that we don't know.
It's a mystery.
Exactly. But yeah, dude, even Luke tells him, I know you're not David Collins.
He tells, and he even admits that he knows that he killed those people, or he knows he killed Craig, and whatnot, and he wasn't about to tell anybody because he favored David. He likes David.
David helped him fucking beat up his bullies and not get expelled from school and shit.
He thinks he's his friend.
Poor kid. Hold on. I'm trying to read my notes. Goes to office. David shows up, destroys the... Oh, that's still back in the fucking office part. Okay, never mind. I'm behind. Oh, dude. All right, so yeah, then they get back to the house, and that's when the fucking FBI show up and shit, and just guns blazing, fucking blazing.
Nope.
No, that's not what happens?
Nope. They go back to the house, and that's when Anna tries to expose him for who he is. And he was able to actually, she's like, he's not really David Collins, I called the military base, and she's saying all this in front of the family.
The fucking dog tags.
And he's like, we're not supposed to talk about it, I'm supposed to be undercover, so when they call about that, it's reasonable that they would, tell a regular civilian, that he's dead.
See, because the
So
dog tags, he
was
could have
actually
easily
able
got
to-
off the dead body from the fire. But at that
Yeah.
time, you think he's David Collins again.
Yep, he was able to really manipulate the family into still believing that.
Dude, at this
And
point,
after
it's
that,
not even
he-
just the family. It's us as the audience as well. Because
Yeah.
now we're all kind of fucked up. Like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, and that's when he goes to Anna's room and he talks to her and he's like, I can see you're upset or whatever. He's like, I'm not going to be here long. It's just going to be for a couple days. You think you can keep it together until then? He's like, okay. And then they have a moment and he's like, okay, like as if he knows that she knows, and they both know that what the situation is, but he's confirming, like, basically, like, shut your mouth,
Yep.
or something might happen. And then she's like, okay.
And he's all like, oh, is this the CD for me? Thanks. Just walks
Yeah,
out the
right
fucking
after that.
door. This fucking guy, man.
So confident in himself that he can get away with all that, and he knows it.
Yeah, dude, that's swag. Like I said, once again, it's all fucking swag. He's fucking... I don't know.
And then that's when the military shows up
Yeah.
at the house. And that's basically when he's exposed, and the mom's with him, and she's like, what the fuck is going on?
No, just always like living our happy life, and all of a sudden just fucking FBI showing up, blasting off fucking AKs and shit into your fucking house.
Blasting him like fucking Mac blasted, or like the fucking crew did in Predator. They just fucking hammering in the same direction, fucking hoping to hit him.
Fucking, was that Mac? Yeah, it might have been Mac.
Yeah, that was Mac.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was Jesse Ventura for some reason.
No, that was from Jesse Ventura dying. That's like right after he died, and then Mac's like, ah!
Yeah, that's right. That's
Picks up the
right.
minigun. And then everybody else shows up and starts blasting in the same direction. They don't even know what the fuck is going on. They're just shooting.
I gotta rewatch that movie. It's been a couple years.
I love that movie.
All right, yeah, and then fucking David and the mom are in the house, and they come face to face, and she's like, "What the fuck is going on?" And I don't remember what he says right here, but he's like,
He's like, it'd be too long to, it'd take too long to explain whatever, is going on. She's like, did you even know my son? He's like, of course I did. He's like, and he would understand, and he would understand what I'm about to do. And he picks up a knife and he ends up killing her,
Dude, that shocked the fuck out of me. I'm not gonna lie. When I watched it for the first time, I was like, "Oh shit!" Because
He even told her too. He's like, "I'm sorry,"
He probably really was sorry too.
He didn't have the intention of actually killing them unless he was exposed like that, which he was. He even said that to the dad too. After he escapes the house and kills he kills every single one of the military personnel except for the agent that was in charge.
Dude, yeah, he killed them all like nothing too. All like headshots, every single one of them.
Super soldier.
Dude, for real. And then he gets away in the fucking car. And then fucking drives straight head on into the dad's car and kills the fucking dad. Like,
But yeah. Well, he didn't kill him at first, but he walked up to him. He's like, "I'm sorry, sir," and then he shot him.
oh yeah, that's right. I forgot he actually shot him.
Yeah. Even he told the dad, he's like, "I'm sorry," I don't think that he actually had the intention. I don't know if he genuinely meant to, I'm sorry, but you can tell he didn't have the intention of killing them.
I was about to ask, do you think he actually like feels bad?
I don't know. You can tell that he didn't have the intention, on killing them. Whether or not he feels guilt or not, that's left that's uncertain.
I mean, you'd probably not, otherwise he wouldn't be in the situations he's in, then, I suppose. I mean, he killed 20 other people, I guess, but, like, it's still confusing, like, for what? What is all this for? Like, why
Survival.
I get that.
Survival.
But, like, yeah, it is survival, but it's like, It bugs me that I don't know the backstory, but it's what makes it so good that you don't know the backstory of why he's like this. And even Micah Monroe, when she gets picked up by the agent, she's like, then why'd you hire a psychopath? And he's like, because at the time, he was the perfect soldier. And shit like that. As if like so was he already a psychopath before this, or fucking? Because I just kind of took that as face value, as like she's just calling him a psychopath because he's killing people. But then I thought about it, like, well, was he already a psychopath before this?
Yeah, it never really delves into like what went wrong with him, in the military. They never explain that. They only say that he was part of some sort of experimental program, and that he was the last one part of that program that still was alive. And it sounds like Caleb was even part of this program, but even Caleb didn't live.
Yeah, I kind of picked up on that too.
What happened to these people that they experimented on? It doesn't really delve much into that, only that they were part of some sort of program.
I wonder if it was like Caleb's and his whole troop that got the experiment done on them. And then maybe David fucking killed them all. What if David killed them all? Unless he thought... I'm thinking about this 2 different ways now, and I'm getting all fucked up. One way I'm thinking...
A lot of things.
Maybe
he could have been a little too good at what he was doing.
Yeah, that. So what if he was like the number 1 and he wanted to stay as the number 1 and he killed the rest of them so he couldn't get killed off? But then also I thought about, well, what if he killed them all to spare them from this fucking experiment or whatever too? There's 2 different ways I could think about this, and I don't know which way to take it.
Yeah, it doesn't really delve much into that, but that's part of the mystery that leaves you wondering.
It's so good, though.
But yeah, he ends up, now that he's ended up killing the mom and the dad, all that's left to kill off is the agent that's looking for him.
Anna and Luke.
And then he goes to try to find Anna.
At the diner.
Fortunately, the agent gets to her right before David arrives.
Oh, man. This scene's so good, too. There's so many good scenes in this fucking movie. He fucking goes in there and asks for Anna. She's like, she just left. He's like, oh, well. Bam! Just fucking shoots Kristen right in the fucking chest. Like, just broad daylight and all. I was like, damn, what about all those people? Problem solved. Turns around, shit-eating grin on his face, 2 grenades, boom. Diner's all done. Killed everybody. That's fucking insane. Just that shit look on his face when he rolls those grenades is what got me. I was like, you motherfucker.
Like, fuck it,
It's so bad. So bad, but so good. And this is where I get a bit fuzzy. That's why I was trying to rewatch the ending before we recorded, but whatever.
Well, yeah, that's when Anna and the agent go to find Luke at the school because he's setting up decorations for the Halloween dance.
Halloween 3 decorations.
Anna's trying to convince him that David's not, who he thinks he is, but he doesn't believe it until she tells him, like, yeah, he killed mom and dad. He's like, you're lying. And then he sees tears roll down her face. He's like, holy shit, Then he realizes, like, okay, man, David's not exactly who we thought he was.
He's not my friend anymore. David's not my friend anymore. He killed my parents.
Yeah, he ends up, and then David gets there. He ends up sabotaging the place and traps him inside. Ends up killing the agent. And then all that's left is Anna and Luke. And attempts to kill Anna, but Anna ends up getting the gun from the agent. And I think she ends up taking a shot at him, but I think he fakes it, or I don't know. I can't.
Something, yeah.
So
I think she takes a shot, and I think Luke stabs him with the box cutter or something.
He stabs him with a knife that David gave to him.
Oh yeah, the butterfly knife. I didn't write that in my notes. That part was cool as fuck too. Just carving the pumpkin with the butter knife or butterfly knife. It's just fucking stabbing the fuck out of that thing, too.
Yeah.
I forgot he gave him the butterfly knife. Fuck.
Yeah, he gave him he's like, wow, that's a really cool knife. He's like, here, you can have it. He's like, really? He's like, yeah, I got plenty.
This fucking guy, dude. This fucking guy, dude. I love him. I love him, but I kind of hate him. He's like Walter
Luke sees
White.
that he's trying to kill Anna, and then that's when he's pretty much like, yeah, I gotta fucking kill this guy. Takes a stab at him and whatnot, and then David's kind of sits down. He's like, you did good. You did the right thing. I don't blame you. Don't feel guilty. And then that's when he kind of looks like he dies right there. He takes his last breath and looks like there's no life left in him.
Yeah, bro.
And then
this fucked me up too.
Yeah, they kind of get up and they leave, and the building's on fire. And then they get out, and they're sitting out inside of an ambulance, and the fire department's talking. They're like, yeah, there's 2 bodies inside. One of them has their teeth knocked out.
Oh, it's probably the teacher guy.
Something like that.
Because he killed the guy that was watching the kid at the detention thing. And that maze was insane. He was like, take 2 lefts, a right, another left, and another right. Then another 2 lefts, and then go straight, and you're out of the fucking maze. I was like, damn, that's a fucking maze, all right.
Yeah. But yeah, then when the fire department comes out, one's coming out with a limp. And we know it's David because he got shot in the leg.
Yeah. And I was like, nah, no way. And then it zooms in on his face, and him and fucking Anna get eye contact, and he walks off. I'm like, no fucking way this dude's alive.
Yeah, and she's even like, what the fuck? And then that's how it ends.
I didn't like that. I'm not gonna lie. I was not a big fan of that.
I liked it.
This is probably why I want to rewatch it, because I was like, what the fuck does happen at the end? Because I remember he limped out, and I was like, what the fuck happens after that? Nothing, because that's how it fucking ends. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, that's the kind of also a mystery part that kind of leaves it open, if there is a sequel. But you actually really, you're led to believe that is David behind the firefighter's mask and whatnot. Even you can tell it is him, but you don't know for sure. Him. You don't know for sure, though.
Oh, I saw his face under there. That's David or whoever the fuck he is.
You can't really see his face, but you can see his eyes. You know those are his eyes. He has those really blue eyes.
Yeah, he does. Shit. Alright, well, that's the fucking guest. Any scenes you want to point out at all that we might have skipped over?
I don't know. That was pretty much it. Other than when they're in the bar and he pulls out that wad of cash and the kid's like, "Are you rich or something?" And he's like, "Yeah, cash is easy to get."
Oh yeah,
didn't even say if he was rich or not. He just cash is easy to get.
Oh, he's obviously. Well, I think. You know what? I think he got that money from killing the dad's boss and shit. He might have robbed them after killing them. And that's where he got the money.
That's pretty much how you would figure a guy like him would get money, just from basically killing people, and getting their money.
Because that was
what he had to do to survive.
Because that was the night before when him and the dad were talking about that, and the next day he picks him up from school and shit. And I'm guessing he did it that night. Because the movie's only probably about like 5 days long. Because there's a couple of days and nights that happen and stuff. I don't see it being like months or anything. Like all this happened within days.
It's kind of what it seemed like to me.
Yeah, so I'd assume, and they said that his boss has been dead a couple of days too, or been missing a couple of days and found dead. So yeah, I'm pretty sure he stole the money from dude's boss. He's rich. He's got the higher paying salary. Why not steal his fucking money? I don't see why David wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty much the whole movie. I think we hit everything. All right, buddy. Let's give a rating for this. What would you give this?
I would give it 8.
8 out of 10?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I agree with you. This is an 8 out of 10 for me, too. I fucking love this goddamn movie. It's so good.
The guy himself just makes makes you fucking like the movie.
Dude, he does. Well, and that's why I watched the movie. As I said, like, I saw him in Godzilla X Kong, and then I watched Abigail, and then watching Abigail is when I was like, all right, I'm finally going to watch The Guest. Because I've been meaning to watch it for a really long time. It's just been on my shelf. And then I was just like, all right, now's the moment. I feel like it's the right moment, and it was the perfect moment. Really close to the Halloween season and everything. Fucking... Yeah, perfect. I'm glad I didn't watch this over the summer. I mean, I still probably would have loved it, but just even.
It's the summer.
Huh?
It is the summer.
I mean, dude, it's August 27th. September is Halloween Eve, all right, and then October. You got to spend all of September prepping for Halloween, and then all of October is Halloween.
That's pretty much how I view October, dude. It's like an entire month of Halloween.
Oh, it definitely is, because one day is not enough.
No, it ain't.
No, it's not, dude. Yeah, so we have an average of 8 together on this fucking movie. Fuck yeah. It's a good movie, dude. Alright, well, that's pretty much it. Chris, thanks for talking The Guest with me.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
No, maybe we'll see if I can get you to come back in a couple of weeks for Friday the 13th. I think that'd be a fun one to talk about.
We'll see about that.
Because next week's episode, I'm going to be doing Beetlejuice, getting prepped up for Beetlejuice. So, getting ready for that. And as we're exiting the show, I'm going to play another local band, FSA. This guy. Chris is fucking with me. He's distracted me. This fucking guy wearing a fucking cowboy hat. Anyway, we're going to exit the show with a local thrash punk band called FSA, a.k.a. Full Straight Ahead. And this song is called There Might Be a Murder Tonight from their Visions of Destiny album from 2021. Check out FSA anywhere you can. Look for them on Facebook. Look for them on YouTube. They don't have a Spotify, so I'm really happy to be showing you guys some FSA. They deserve some love. But yeah, with that, we are out of here. Until next week, Beetlejuice. I'll see you folks later. Here's FSA. There Might Be a Murder Tonight.